From the Oak Harbor, Ohio Weather Team, this is a severe weather alert. Good evening. Well, it's really good night to everyone. This is Adam Benner with a severe weather update. We have a severe thunderstorm or a severe thunderstorm watch until 3 a.m. Tonight, as we have a line of thunderstorms now that are up here in Michigan, as you can see, and we are particularly concerned about the possibility of hail the size of tennis balls, 75 mile an hour winds, and the possibility of some tornadoes. Now, we do have a thunderstorm, and if you can see these triangles, this is a tornado vortex signature on a storm that's in between, well, just now southwest of Ann Arbor and is moving southeast. This is the storm that I'm very concerned may come towards Oak Harbor within the next hour, and hopefully we won't have that problem, and hopefully these will weaken, but I'm not too confident in that right now. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy still available to the south. It's been sunny all day. So, okay, and now we've got reports here. I don't know if how well you guys can see that, but $0.5, so 1.5 inch diameter hail just west of Ann Arbor from this storm. And if we go to velocity mode, it's hard to really see if there's any true rotation with this, but nonetheless, this line right here is definitely showing some very strong winds. So nonetheless, we're going to have to watch this carefully. As I said, a severe thunderstorm watch until 3 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Let's look at this warning real quick. Again, this is up in Michigan. So the warning is for ping pong ball size hail and 60 mile an hour winds. So at the very least, some pretty significant hail, some strong winds, and again, I'm seeing indications of where there could be some rotation with this storm. Let's go back to reflectivity. This pink area, that's your hail core. That's most likely where you're going to see hail falling. So if you know anybody near Bridgewater, Michigan, or Manchester, this is where this storm is currently. There's Ann Arbor. If we go further to the south, there's Tecumseh. There's Dundee, where the Cabela's is. So if we back up some more, get a wide range of this storm. If you notice, this is running along a line. If we back out even further, it's a big complex of storms that's going to affect all of the northern uh, parts of Ohio. We've got warnings all over the place showing up. So um, if we zoom back in, let's actually look at this. No, this is a different thunderstorm, but this may give an idea. We got wind damage now up in Michigan. And that's the first that I've seen any wind damage reports coming from these storms. So the wind potential is definitely significant. And you see, again, these little triangles. Those are tornado vortex signatures. So this radar is picking up the possibility that these storms are rotating and producing large hail, large hail and potentially trying to rotate. If we go back down again here, again, this storm is capable of ping pong ball size hail that's 1.5 inches in diameter. So we are looking at definitely a very strong thunderstorm that shows no signs of weakening. If we back this out and show you, so there's Toledo, and we are about right here. And if you notice those arrows coming off of this storm, it's moving south-southeast, which would put it in Ottawa County probably within the next hour to hour and a half. We are going to stick with it here. I'm going to stay live just because I want everyone to get as much warning time as possible. And sorry, I'm looking at some messages. I actually do have somebody who's on this storm, a friend of mine, and earlier it did have a pretty nice wall cloud with it. Okay, so let's zoom back in. And let's look at rotation again. This is velocity mode. Again, it's very hard to tell. We maybe try to look at it from a different radar site. Maybe we'll get a better idea of what this looks like. And yeah, and this image isn't very conclusive either. So if we go back to reflectivity, go back up to Detroit, and I apologize for it keep backing out, but when you change radar sites, that's what it does. I expect a severe thunderstorm warning for Monroe and Lenawee counties here in a minute, any minute really, as this storm is on the leading edge of this warning. And we may even see it get extended further down into Lucas County, near the Toledo area. So these storms are not that far off. If I go back to the warning here, it says it's moving southeast at 35 miles an hour. And these storms tonight have been ranging around, as far as their movement, 35 to 45 miles an hour. So give or take that that speed for it to uh, reach the Oak Harbor area. Let's see here. Let's look at the hail, since hail is a big concern. Okay, here we go. So this is showing hail, and this area right here would most likely be where you have up to 1.5 inch diameter hail. Matter of fact, we have some reports right here by trained weather spotters of anywhere from 1 inch to 1.5 inch diameter um, hail. That's now heading towards Bridgewater and Saline. Let's go back to reflectivity. And as a matter of fact, it's probably splitting between Bridgewater and Saline. There's another way of seeing the hail. Some good news is that it doesn't look as impressive as it was earlier. Not too long ago, this thing really looked impressive in southern Michigan. So that's some good news, but it also could mean that the storm is cycling, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. Real quick, I want to get this out of the way. If you are watching this, I do want to mention the I have a graphic here for tornado safety. And okay. So now we have a severe thunderstorm warning now for Monroe County. If we go to that warning, that is until 10:45. So for the next hour tonight. And this storm is capable of ping pong ball size hail. And I think I misspoke earlier. I think I said $half size hail as 1/2 inch. That is incorrect. That is 1.25 inches in diameter. Ping pong ball size hail is 1.5 inches in diameter, and that can do a lot of damage to vehicles. So hopefully you've got your vehicles in the garage tonight, um, and hopefully um, hopefully you'll have all of your as many possessions as possible out of the outdoors and inside. Uh, as I said earlier, we are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 3 a.m. And the SBC has mentioned the possibility of uh, tennis ball size hail and 75-mile-an-hour winds. Now, here's a report of uh, quarter size hail over Saline. Okay, looks like I'm back. Um, Sorry about that. Not sure what exactly happened there. Uh, but now um, we've got a special marine warning for um, basically Ottawa County through the lakeshore. Um, Severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from Wyandotte to 27 nautical miles northwest of Luna Pier, moving southeast at 30 knots, and wind gusts to 50 knots, and large hail is possible with this storm. Again, I don't suspect that anybody is driving out on the lake right now. Um, if we zoom back in, uh, now it looks like the hail size has gone down just a little bit, down to 1.25 inches in diameter. But this is going to go up and down, and I'm not liking these TVS signatures still being there. So let's check velocity again. Again, it is very, very hard to see here what's really going on. Maybe if we go to a different radar site, zoom in. Nope, this one right here. And it looks like mostly we're looking at straight line winds right now. Go back to reflectivity. Again, we're going to go back to the Detroit radar. And as this gets closer to our neck of the woods, I will switch over to Cleveland's radar. But for now, we'll stick with Detroit. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning for Monroe County is out until 10:45 for ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Lots of hail reports tonight, and as I updated earlier today, that was definitely a threat today, and we continue to be concerned here. So here's what I'm concerned with. This is still a supercell in a sense, with an appendage on the end here, and if that begins to wrap around and uh, develop what is like a hook shape, that would be a real big indication of uh, the storm rotating. So if we back out, we'll back out again. Um, and again, just to show that this is not the only area, we've got more robust storms here coming into Hillsdale County here pretty soon in Michigan. Um, that one has been putting down ping pong ball size hail as well. And we'll be moving towards generally through Hillsdale, Wauseon, maybe the Bowling Green area, maybe down towards Fremont, North Baltimore, Tiffin area. Everybody's going to get storms tonight. And if you can see, look at all the lightning that is showing here. At the very least, we're going to have quite a light show with these storms. And so at the very least, it's going to get noisy. It's going to rain pretty hard. And again, there's the possibility of some very large hail and damaging winds. Hang on one second. Okay, so let's zoom back into the storm that we're mostly concerned about. We still have still showing that TVS tornado vortex signature right here, and again, though I'm not so sure how reliable that really is. Hail size, we're back up to 1.5 inches in diameter. And this storm, very, very strong thunderstorm. The last time I heard anything or have seen a storm like this threatening the Oak Harbor area, it's been a long time, hail-wise at least. I know last summer in Oak Harbor we had a pretty robust supercell that produced or warranted a tornado warning. Thankfully that one didn't touch down, but we it has been a long time since I've heard of hail this large in this next neck of the woods. So let's see. Okay, so let's back out again here. And I would expect this again to come in within the next hour and a half. So if we go back in, Yeah, Chad, I'm just now seeing your comment. You're right. There very well could be some people out on the lake, but hopefully they're seeing all of the lightning that is showing up here, and taking heed of the warnings. I'm hopefully they've got it. Anyone that would be out there would have a weather radio going. Um, but again, a lot of lightning with this storm. There's been a long history of hail reports with this storm. And again, the possibility of ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds for this storm currently. If we look at velocity again, still not seeing. It's so hard to see from Detroit. If we go back to the terminal radar, oh wow, that one looks. That doesn't look legit. Yeah, okay, so we're still looking at pretty much a damaging wind threat as far as the winds go. Go back to Detroit. There's a lot of tornado vortex signatures showing up on these line of storms. And I'm not sure how accurate they really are. Back out again. So this is about to come into Dundee. This is going to move close to Monroe. This is going to come through Luna Pier, most likely the east side of Toledo, and it's going to follow basically down and split Ottawa County in half. So particularly if you live on the north side of town, I'm more concerned about that area, but everybody's gonna get some piece of this unless it starts to weaken, which I don't see happening. Okay, so I know this doesn't involve Oak Harbor, but Oak Harbor is not under a warning yet, but now we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Hillsdale and Williams County, Hillsdale, Michigan, and Williams County in Northwest Ohio. I do know I have some followers out that way. So real quick, I'm just going to go through this. This storm is capable of ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds, and it's moving southeast at 50 miles an hour. So if you live in Hillsdale County, northern Williams County, and really the next in line is going to be Fulton County. Really, really watch this storm because it's coming right for you. So, okay, let's go back to the storm that is moving towards Oak Harbor. Again, look at the lightning, and if you notice, we got some strikes ahead of the actual rainfall that's showing up. And so I know I shared this during Severe Weather Week, but lightning can actually strike within 25 miles outside of a parent thunderstorm. So even if you're not um, under this storm yet, you still have the possibility of being struck if you're outside. So you want to be careful with that. Keep that in mind. And so let's see here if we want to look at these TVSs again. And okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about earlier when referring to a hook. This right here, you see it kind of bending forward a bit. This it could be briefly trying to rotate. Excuse me while I take a drink. If we go to velocity, okay, there may actually be some rotation now on the back end of this storm, where this tight area of green and red joining together. Let's look at it from a different perspective. There may be a little bit trying to develop there. If we go back to reflectivity, though, we'll have to keep watching that. The hail size. Now, here's some good news. The hail size is going down. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so the fact that the hail size is going down a little bit, the storm might be weakening, or it could be what's called cycling. And quite honestly, only time will tell with that. So we're just gonna have to keep watching it. If there is a chance that this storm may go out completely over the lake, but it's too close to call right now. So let's see. Okay. Okay. Now we got pretty good hook right there. So again, it's starting to rotate. Okay, this is very concerning now. We got a TVS signature with a 7 on it, and that's a pretty high value for a TVS, and a TVS has been showing up continuously on this thing for quite a while. It is just very hard to tell when you're this far away from a radar site. If we go back, let's go to reflectivity. Let's check this storm back here again. Okay, not too much going on there. Let's So let's continue with this. This storm is now right over Dundee, and is again moving southeast. Next in line is Petersburg, Ida, again Luna Pier, Monroe, Temperance. All of these locations are in the path of this storm, and this storm may briefly go out over the lake before entering Ottawa County. I would expect probably within the next 20 to 30 minutes that parts of Lucas and Ottawa counties are going to go under some sort of warning. Um, so, um, okay, here's the latest scan. Still a pretty good hook on the back end of it, and oh, let's check velocity one more time again, since we got a new update. Okay. Not really seeing much again right now. Hail size is still at 1.25 inches. Let's look downstream. Once you get from Luna Pier, the next in line is going to be Harbor View. It's going to be east of Oregon. This is Route 2. So in the Jerusalem Township area, Curtis, Williston. Eventually, this is going to come towards Elliston, Rocky Ridge. There's a chance that it could go north of downtown Oak Harbor, but it's too close to call right now. We'll have to see how this evolves. Okay, so we got tell you what, let's briefly leave that storm because I'm getting some information that the storm to the west. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, we're gonna focus on the one warned storm that is heading for Montpelier, eventually Frontier, Reading, Coldwater. Eventually, I don't like this. This is heading straight for Wauseon. Wauseon is a little bit of a bigger community in this area on top of Wauseon, or excuse me, Hillsdale. Hillsdale looks like it's going to be it's going to be from Hillsdale all the way down into Wauseon. Okay, Chad, to answer your question, the TVS tornado vortex signatures, a lot of times they pop up ahead of where the actual radar reflectivity is a bit behind. So where you're seeing those signatures are in the most updated locations, and then the radar will catch up after that, if that makes sense. So then we look at this storm. There's the hook right here. Again, here's the TBS signatures. So it's most likely near just just east of Union City right here. Let's go to base velocity. That one also doesn't look particularly strong rotation wise, but this is a very, very strong thunderstorm. Okay. This also had an inch diameter hail reported with it. And this one, or even further back near Battle Creek, it was at an inch and a half diameter. This one is by far the strongest storm in the area. Okay, now we got an update on the warning that's closer to Oak Harbor. So if we click on that one, latest update is 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So the hail size has really come down, which is a good thing. Hopefully the storm will continue the weekend. I don't really expect it to, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll go back to the Detroit radar and move in on this storm. Wow, this storm has really started to fall apart, and I wonder if the lake is interacting with it and weakening it. The waters over Lake Erie this time of year are still pretty cold compared to the air temperature, which we got into the low 70s today, which I'm sure felt nice for a lot of people. Unfortunately, once the cold front moves through, that the temperatures will plummet, and it looks like we are actually going to be in an extended period of time of some cooler, definitely below average temperatures. But we got to get through tonight first. So I'll continue to keep an eye on that one. Let's go back to the storm in far. Okay, so we still got 2 tornado vortex signatures and hail up to potentially 2 inches now, based off of radar. And this is why we had to watch out, because the hail potential today was just unbelievable. And if we go and look at the hail, look at this hail core. At the very least, there's probably a ton of very small hail over Tekenosha. I hope I said that right. The white area is at least showing a ton of small hail, if not very large hail. Okay. We're getting a report, and I'm trying to figure out where this is, if that's in this storm from earlier in Niles. There's a report of windows being blown out of homes. in Niles, and I believe Niles I believe is somewhere in the vicinity of where the storm has been. Let me just make sure that it wasn't from this storm. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure where that report is. I'll have to wait and see if it shows up on radar here in a minute. But I am getting some reports of that. Okay, so let's go to Cleveland. Let's go to Cleveland's radar now. Look at all the lightning. There has got to be one heck of a light show that you can see off to the north now. And one thing to keep in mind about this is that these individual lightning bolts are not one bolt. This is actually several lightning bolts accumulated in a very short amount of time. One thing I will say, let's look at the terminal. Oh, okay, let's look back at Detroit. The storm really looks like it's starting a weekend, which would be a great thing. Well, just as I say that, it does show signs of weakening, but it also shows that hook still. So I'm not completely sold on this thing. Okay, here we go. Severe thunderstorm warning now for Oak Harbor. It's for Lucas, Wood, Ottawa, Sandusky, and it looks like a portion of Erie counties. If we go here, it's for Ottawa, Erie County, Central Sandusky County, Eastern Wood County, and Northern Lucas County. This is going to be out till 11 p.m. tonight. So for the next roughly 40 minutes. Severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 15 miles southeast of Grosse Isle to near Ottawa Lake. And this is moving south at 45 miles an hour. And it's capable of 60 mile an hour winds and quarter-sized hail. And then locations impacted include Toledo, Bowling Green, Sandusky, Fremont, Port Clinton, Kelly's Island, Put-in-Bay, Perrysburg, Oregon, Sylvania, Rossford, Waterville, Northwood, Oak Harbor, Gibsonburg, Genoa, Woodville, Holland, Elmore, and Castalia. Those are just to name a few of the towns in the path. So here we go. Now unless we get something with a bigger priority, we are going to stay with this now. We are officially under a severe thunderstorm warning now until 11 p.m. tonight. And if we let's look at velocity mode, not necessarily looking for rotation. Well, Now this is looking pretty high up, but some of these wind speeds here are rather rather fast. Let's go to terminal radar for that. And yeah, I would say about 60-mile-an-hour winds is about right for this storm. If we look at it from Cleveland, yeah. Okay, so 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-size hail is possible with this storm. Again, it's going to get really, really loud. I'm not so much worried about hail anymore as I am the damaging winds with this now. The original storm is weakening, and it actually looks like the storm further off to the east is gaining strength, maybe messing with it. That one's going to go pretty close to Put-in-Bay. So if you're out on the islands, keep in mind of this. And then eventually up past Sandusky, once it comes back on shore. That one actually looks like it's going to come towards Lorain, Elyria, Strongsville area, basically the west side of Cleveland, if that storm continues with its current intensity. Again, though, severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for the entire area in Ottawa County. Okay. Thank you, Chad, for letting me know. So I guess Niles is way, way over in Indiana. Okay, here it is. In that area, it looks like 60-mile-an-hour winds occurred. But those storms won't affect our area. There is a chance, I will say this, there is a chance that the storm that is currently in Hillsdale County may actually come towards Ottawa County. So we may get hit twice. And we'll have to watch that storm closely. If we look at this storm again, and they just dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for Monroe County. And I believe that's a few minutes early that they dropped that warning. But it's currently crossing the border into the Toledo area, and that will briefly move over the lake, come back on shore, and okay. Sorry, I've been on and off losing connection here. But we're back, and again, this storm's going to briefly move offshore and then come back onshore. Really looks like now maybe again on the north side of Oak Harbor, maybe the east side, actually where I'm at currently, and then maybe in the Port Clinton area. So we have, again, this storm has really weakened. And I think the worst of it is actually going to stay offshore. Um, if that continues, if this little bit over Luna Pier moves offshore, we will focus further off to the west. That'll be the next in line. Let's see. Let's back this out. There's a little uptick on lightning, but I just I don't really see too much of a hail threat anymore. We may have dodged a bullet, but we're gonna stay with it until the threat moves away, and continue covering this. Okay, no new. No new reports out west from what I see. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. So it looks like the very tip of this storm is actually moving into the Toledo area now. This is I'll be honest, this is really moving offshore. So it would appear again that we are going to dodge a bullet. The islands, however, if you are on Put-in-Bay, this is coming right for you. Kelly's Island, Put-in-Bay, Marblehead, even Port Clinton. You're still very much under the gun for this, but Oak Harbor, I'm not going to give you an all clear just yet, but the threat is definitely looks like the worst of it's going to be off to the offshore, off of the mainland. So now, just zoom this out a little bit and keep an eye on the warnings to the west. That'll be the next one in line. Oh wow. Okay, so this storm off to right in here in Hillsdale County is really showing some high winds at the very least. Um, so while it looks like the first storm, we may be dodging a bullet, this second storm uh, may move towards the area. It may just miss us to the west, but I definitely want to watch that storm closely, as that would be our next threat. Um, let's see. Hang on one second. I'm getting some messages here. Okay, sorry about that. Um, Again, since this is still on land, uh, this is gonna skirt. This looks like it's gonna skirt the shoreline here. Let's go. Let's look at velocity real quick. Yeah, not a whole lot. Well, hang on. Okay, right in here, just east of Toledo, it looks like we may be getting an area of some slight rotation. Um, um, there is a little bit of rotation. It appears um, trying to develop on the back end of the storm, and it's always the back end that has the rotation. Hang on. Okay. Again, a lot of lightning with these storms, so I'm sure it's going to start getting loud. If you know anybody that lives in eastern Ohio, particularly near the Cleveland area, let them know that they've got a nasty line coming their way. Um, let's see if we go back in. Um, Almost well, now it's under severe criteria for the hail, based on radar, and that's even offshore. So I would expect that the severe thunderstorm warning may get canceled, or at least um, cut down quite a bit. Uh, Perrysburg, you're not going to see anything. Bowling Green, you're not going to see anything. I'm not going to give Fremont quite the all clear just because of this last area that's still technically on shore. And I take that back. Perrysburg and Bowling Green, you're not going to see anything really severe with this. You may get a couple of lightning strikes. You are going to get some rain, but nothing severe. Uh, okay. Looks like I'm now getting a report with that with this other one that there is a wall cloud with it. Um, there's a wall cloud with this backstorm. What a wall cloud is, it's an area, it's a lowered area of the base of the storm. And the reports I'm getting are that it's a rotating wall cloud, and what that means is that that storm is obviously rotating, and if the rotation gets stronger, this storm over here could produce a tornado. That's why I have the headphones on. I'm listening to some reports, and hopefully nothing does touch down. Hopefully we in Northwest Ohio will dodge a bullet tonight. Several other areas up in Michigan and in Illinois, Wisconsin, and even as far back as Iowa has seen some very large hail today. And even in southern Ohio earlier today, there was a very impressive supercell earlier that produced so much hail that it accumulated like snow on the ground. So let's see. If we back up again, look at the whole area. Looks like we got some storms now ahead of this line trying to explode, and even a severe thunderstorm warning out in Pennsylvania. So if you live in eastern Ohio, you'll definitely want to keep an eye on both these storms and the line that's developing. And there are a few storms up in the thumb of Michigan, but this is our main threat for tonight. Once this moves through, our severe weather will be virtually over. Again, the storm is kind of hugging the shoreline. Okay. The storm to the west, I'm getting more reports of the possibility that a brief tornado touchdown. The person who is a well-trained spotter um, because it's at night, was unsure, and he said if it had touched down, it was very weak and barely there. So um, it may or may not have produced a tornado, but I know that that was at least being discussed. Um, got an update on the warning. Um, so at 10:40, so 1 minute ago, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Put-in-Bay to 10 miles north of Oak Harbor. Um, 10 miles north of Oak Harbor to near Toledo, moving south at 30. And now it says for 60-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized hail. Penny-sized hail is not even severe criteria, but 60-mile-an-hour winds is. So that's why the warning is still up. But this storm is definitely weakening. It's most likely just going to have a ton of lightning, maybe some small hail with it, maybe some gusty winds, but certainly not what it was earlier when it was up in Michigan and what we've been concerned about all day with being tennis ball size hail and with the watch 75-mile-an-hour winds. So that's good news. That's the good news. Those storms are weakening. Let's go back over here, and I'm going to change radar sites. Yeah, this is a much stronger thunderstorm. Very, very severe storm in Hillsdale County. And that is actually getting ready to, it's going to cross briefly into Lenawee County and into Fulton County. Again, if you live in Morenci, Pioneer, in Williams County, Fayette, Alverton, Waldron, Wauseon, particularly Wauseon. This is heading straight for Wauseon. Please take cover. Take cover now, because that is a very, very significant storm. If we go here now, it looks like we got some lightning showing up closer to Oak Harbor. Again, it doesn't look overly impressive. But very, very strong thunderstorm. And okay, so I'm now hearing thunder at my house. So what I'm going to do is unhook from the power sources. Hopefully that didn't cut the stream for any reason. And okay, now we got there's now a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Williams, Fulton, and Henry County, northeastern Henry County. We got a severe thunderstorm is located 8 miles northeast of Pioneer or 8 miles southwest of Hudson, moving southeast at 55 miles an hour. So now that storm's picked up. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail are the threats with this storm. So, tell you what, we got another severe thunderstorm warning on the border of Indiana and Ohio, and that one is going to be moving into western Ohio shortly. If we go back to the severe thunderstorm warning for the Oak Harbor area, again, not a particularly strong storm. Again, probably some gusty winds, and that's about it. We again, Put-in-Bay and Kelly's Island is getting hammered right now. Looks like maybe some small hail. Oh, maybe even a little bit of larger hail moving on to Kelly's Island. But that's mostly over open water. If hopefully this will move on by. We haven't gotten any reports in a long time. Hey, thanks Travis, I appreciate it, buddy. This really been the first time that I've gotten to do this, and I'll tell you what. I do want to say thank you for everyone who has supported the page. I have wanted to do this for a long time. Finally figured out a way to do it. I hope that the quality has been good, other than it shutting down a few times. Unfortunately, you're just going to have that. But I hope that I've done a fairly good enough job, and I definitely want to hear your guys' feedback in the coming days on what you want to see, and what you would like to see through the page. Now there is a couple of hail markers showing up for pea-sized hail. And this is coming pretty close to the Oak Harbor area. You're probably seeing it north of Rocky Ridge on route and into Carroll Township, going up to Route 2. Here's Route 2. 19 runs obviously north into Route 2. So if anybody is seeing anything as far as hail goes, or maybe some gusty winds, definitely let me know, so that anyone who is further on down the line can get that extra warning of what's going on. Again, maybe some gusty winds with this, but the worst of this definitely went over the islands. Is going to miss Oak Harbor for the most part. So maybe there may be a good little bit of hail showing up. on the north side here. Um, if we back up, man, look at this storm coming into Fulton County. Uh, Again, there's a chance that that will that may actually move down towards Bowling Green and maybe Fremont and hit the southern part of Ottawa County. Um, Definitely, nonetheless, an active night tonight. Um, if we Let's go check this storm out real quick. Well, let's check out a few of these actually. Those look like those are going to be all small hail and wind. Again, there's a heck of a hook near Waldron, and again that is coming right for Wauseon. Um, and ooh, let's check that. Make sure I'm not seeing that from Cleveland. Okay, that's good. Sometimes when you look at different radar sites, they pick up different indications at different heights when the radar beam passes through the storm. Um, let's see. Okay, so again, um, severe thunderstorm warning that goes out. That's going to be in effect for um, the next 7 minutes, and then this warning will actually expire. And I'd be willing to bet that they're going to let that particular warning expire, but we may see a warning for Erie, Huron, and Lorain counties, maybe even parts of Cuyahoga County for these storms right here. Those look quite a bit stronger. Um, but 7 more minutes on this warning. When this warning expires, because it looks like it'll expire before it reaches Oak Harbor or shortly thereafter, we will move away from these storms, and I really want to focus in because even from Cleveland now, there's a hook showing up. I'm very concerned about the Wauseon area. It's definitely a lot of hail offshore. That's gonna looks like again almost towards directly towards the Lorain area. Okay, now we see that little appendage we got showing up again, and that's right over town. It's that looks murky. So not over Oak Harbor, but it looks like maybe some broad, very very broad. Not tight. If you were looking for a tornado, you'd want tight rotation. But some broad rotation or near Port Clinton. Um, So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Um, it's not, again, not particularly strong by any means, uh, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Um, Man, that storm moving into Fulton County looks very, very impressive. Um, and again, that very well could move towards the area, but it's going to be close. Um, Again, kind of a recap here. Look at all this lightning. It's I can hear it through the headphones. It's been a very loud night. Look at all the lightning showing up near Oak Harbor. Um, let's see. uh, let's see. Oh, okay. So the severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled 3 minutes early. So Ottawa County is no longer under a severe thunderstorm warning. Um, and neither is Sandusky, Erie, uh, or Wood counties. But I again expect, and here we go, right over the Cleveland area. There's been some other storms that have developed, and there's a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Portage, southern Geauga, and southeastern Cuyahoga and northeastern Summit counties until midnight tonight. At 10:56, the severe thunderstorm was located near Parma or near Cleveland, moving east at 45 miles an hour. The storm's capable of 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. So, if we zoom in real quick, if you're near Shaker Heights, Solon, south of Shaker Heights, Solon, Parma, Twinsburg, Welshfield, Garrettsville, Windham. If you're in those areas, um, you'll probably be hearing a lot of okay. There's no longer severe thunderstorm warning locally. So any chance of severe weather has really gone away for this particular storm. So for right now, Oak Harbor is nothing but just noisy with all the lightning, but nothing severe is going on in Oak Harbor right now. I see your comment, James. It's going to be noisy for a while, but nothing severe currently. Now, again, I'm watching this one off to the west. That's pretty potent. Matter of fact, let's move on to that one because there is a chance that this could move towards Ottawa County. And this is a much more impressive storm. Radar's picking up on Oh, okay, sorry about that. We're back. James, to me, the only way that this there would ever be a loss of power would be through lightning strikes, um, which it is a possibility, but I don't see any chance of uh, significant power outages from this. So again, let's look at this storm in Fulton County. Again, we've been on and off saying that the hill or the Wauseon area would be the area to watch. And what I mean by that is this area right here on the back end that is rotating. Um, that is moving straight for downtown Wauseon. So if you live in Wauseon or points north and west of Wauseon, uh, you need to take cover like now. This storm is on its way. It will be there soon. If we look at velocity mode, and this is at the very uh, high up on uh, the National Weather Service and Fort Wayne's radar. So seeing any form of rotation is going to be really hard unless it is blatantly obvious and strong. Still got storms in Indiana that are severe warned. Okay, now we got a new severe thunderstorm warning like I had expected for the storms that had moved offshore briefly and missed the Oak Harbor area. We actually have two severe thunderstorm warnings within each other for two completely different storms. But anyway, for this storm, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern Huron County, western Portage County, Erie County, Cuyahoga County, Medina County, northwestern Ashland County, Summit County, and Lorain counties until 11:45 p.m. tonight. At 11 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 16 miles northwest of Lakeline to near Lorain, to 7 miles east of Sandusky, and it's moving southeast at 55 miles an hour. So these storms are beginning to pick up in speed. 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail is possible. So if you are in these counties, please take cover immediately. Let's see. So if we back out again, let's go back and look at this one storm again near the Wauseon area. Very, very impressive storm. Big hail core near Oakshade. If you're near Delta, Swanton, Lyons, you're going to be more worried about the hail. Particularly Wauseon and down eventually towards Liberty Center is where I'm concerned about rotation with this storm. let's see. If we look at this, we got another one behind it beginning to develop. Um, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Again, we've got lightning, uh, a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder. It's a noisy night. But again, currently, and I think for the time being, for a while, I do not see any. Uh, there is no severe thunderstorm warning, and I don't see any severe weather right now. However, one thing I am noticing is this line is being stubborn, and it's been storming